Audiobook 32. From Noon to Starry Night. Thou orb aloft, full dazzling. Thou orb aloft, full dazzling, thou hot October noon, flooding with sheeny light the grey beach sand, the sibilant near sea, with vistas far and foam, and tawny streaks and shades and spreading blue. O son of noon refulgent, my special word to thee. Hear me, illustrious, thy lover me, for always I have loved thee, even as basking babe, then happy boy alone by some wood edge, thy touching distant beams enough, or man matured, or young, or old, as now to thee I launch my invocation. Thou canst not with thy dumbness me deceive. I know before the fitting man all nature yields, though answering not in words, the skies, trees, hear his voice, and thou, O sun, as for thy throes, thy perturbations, sudden breaks and shafts of flame gigantic, I understand them. I know those flames, those perturbations well. Thou that with fructifying heat and light, o'er myriad farms, o'er lands and waters south and north, o'er Mississippi's endless course, o'er Texas' grassy plains, Canada's woods, o'er all the globe that turns its face to thee shining in space, thou that impartially enfoldest all, thou that to grapes and weeds and little wild flowers givest so liberally, shed thyself on mine and me, but with a fleeting ray out of thy millions strike through these chants. Nor only launch thy subtle dazzle and thy strength for these, prepare the later afternoon of me, myself, prepare my lengthening shadows, prepare my starry nights. Faces. Sauntering the pavement or riding the country by road, faces. Faces of friendship, precision, caution, suavity, ideality. The spiritual prescient face, the always welcome, common, benevolent face. The face of the singing of music, the grand faces of natural lawyers and judges broad at the back top. The faces of hunters and fishers, bulged at the brows, the shaved, blanched faces of orthodox citizens. The pure, extravagant, yearning, questioning artist's face. The ugly face of some beautiful soul. The handsome, detested, or despised face. The sacred faces of infants. The illuminated face of the mother of many children. The face of an armor. The face of veneration. The face as of a dream. The face of an immobile rock. The face withdrawn of its good and bad, a castrated face, a wild hawk, his wings clipped by the clipper, a stallion that yielded at last to the thongs and the knife of the gelder. Sauntering the pavement thus, or crossing the ceaseless ferry, faces and faces and faces, I see them and complain not, and am content with all. Do you suppose I could be content with all if I thought them their own finale? This now is too lamentable a face for a man. Some abject louse asking leave to be, cringing for it. Some milk-nosed maggot blessing what lets it rig to its hole. This face is a dog's snout sniffing for garbage. Snakes nest in that mouth, I hear the sibilant threat. This face is a haze more chill than the Arctic sea, Its sleepy and wobbling icebergs crunch as they go. This is the face of bitter herbs, this an emetic. They need no label. And more of the self-drug laudanum, cartichoke, or hog's lard. This is a face of epilepsy. Its wordless tongue gives out the unearthly cry. Its veins down the neck distend. Its eyes roll till they show nothing but their whites. Its teeth grit. The palms of the hands were cut by the turned-in nails. The man falls, struggling and foaming to the ground, while he speculates well. This face is bitten by vermin and worms, and this is some murderer's knife with a half-pulled scabbard. This face owes to the sexton his dismalest fee. An unceasing death-bell tolls here. Features of my equals would trick me with your creased and cadaverous march. Well, you cannot trick me. I see your rounded, never-erased flow. I see 'neath the rims of your haggard, mean disguises. Splay and twist as you like. Poke with the tangling forces of fishes or rats. You'll be unmuzzled. You certainly will. I saw the face of the most smeared and slobbering idiot they had at the asylum. And I knew, for my consolation, what they knew not. I knew of the agents that emptied and broke my brother. The same wait to clear the rubbish from the fallen tenement. And I shall look again in a score or two of ages, and I shall meet the real landlord, perfect and unharmed, every inch as good as myself. The Lord advances, and yet advances always the shadow in front, always the reached hand bringing up the laggards. Out of this face emerge banners and horses, oh superb! I see what is coming. I see the high pioneer caps, see stabs of runners clearing the way. I hear victorious drums. This face is a lifeboat. This is the face commanding and bearded. It asks no odds of the rest. This face is flavored fruit ready for eating. This face of a healthy, honest boy is the program of all good. These faces bear testimony, slumbering or awake. They show their descent from the Master himself. Off the word I have spoken, I accept not one. Red, black, white are all deific. In each house is the ovum. It comes forth after 1,000 years. Spots or cracks at the windows do not disturb me. Tall and sufficient stand behind and make signs to me. I read the promise and patiently wait. This is a full-grown lily's face. She speaks to the limber-hipped man near the garden pickets. Come here, she blushingly cries. Come nigh to me, limber-hipped man. Stand at my side till I lean as high as I can upon you. Fill me with albescent honey. Bend down to me. Rub to me with your chafing beard. Rub to my breasts and shoulders. The old face of the mother of many children, whilst I am fully content. Lulled and late is the smoke of the first day morning. It hangs low over the rows of trees by the fences. It hangs thin by the sassafras and wild cherry and catbrier under them. I saw the rich ladies in full dress at the soiree. I heard what the singers were singing so long, heard who sprang in crimson youth from the white froth and the water blue. Behold, a woman. She looks out from her Quaker cap. Her face is clearer and more beautiful than the sky. She sits in an armchair under the shaded porch of the farmhouse. The sun just shines on her old white head. Her ample gown is of cream-hued linen. Her grandsons raise the flax, and her granddaughters spun it with the distaff and the wheel. The melodious character of the earth, the finish beyond which philosophy cannot go, and does not wish to go, the justified mother of men. The Mystic Trumpeter. Hark! Some wild trumpeter, some strange musician, hovering unseen in air, vibrates capricious tunes tonight. I hear thee, trumpeter. Glistening, alert, I catch thy notes, now pouring, whirling like a tempest round me, now low, subdued, now in the distance lost. Come nearer, bodiless one, haply in thee resounds some dead composer, haply thy pensive life was filled with aspirations high, uniformed ideals, waves, oceans musical, chaotically surging, that now, ecstatic ghost close to me bending, thy coronet echoing, pealing, gives out to no one's ears but mine, but freely gives to mine that I may thee translate. Blow, trumpeter, free and clear, I follow thee, while at thy liquid prelude, glad, serene, the fretting world, the streets, the noisy hours of day withdraw. A holy calm descends like dew upon me. I walk in cool, refreshing night the walks of paradise. I scent the grass, the moist air, and the roses. The song expands my numbed, embonded spirit. Thou freest, launchest me, floating and basking upon heaven's lake. Blow again, trumpeter, and for my sensuous eyes bring the old pageants. Show the feudal world what charm thy music works. Thou makest pass before me ladies and cavaliers long dead. Barons are in their castle halls, the troubadours are singing. Armed knights go forth to redress wrongs, some in quest of the Holy Grail. I see the tournament. I see the contestants encased in heavy armor, seated on stately champing horses. I hear the shouts of blows and smiting steel. I hear the crusaders' tumultuous armies. Hark, how the cymbals clang! Lo, where the monks walk in advance, bearing the cross on high. Blow again, trumpeter! And for thy theme take now the enclosing theme of all, the solvent and the setting, love, that is pulse of all, the sustenance and the pang, the heart of man and woman, all for love. No other theme but love, knitting, enclosing, all diffusing love. Oh, how the immortal phantoms crowd around me! I see the vast alembic ever working. I see and know the flames that heat the world, the glow, the blush, the beating hearts of lovers so blissfully happy some, and some so silent, dark, and nigh to death. Love, that is all the earth to lovers. Love that mocks time and space, love that is day and night, love that is sun and moon and stars, love that is crimson, sumptuous, sick with perfume. No other words but words of love, no other thought but love. Blow again, trumpeter, conjure war's alarms. Swift to thy spell a shuddering hum like distant thunder rolls. Lo, where the armed men hasten, lo, mid the clouds of dust the glint of bayonets. I see the grime-faced cannoneers, I mark the rosy flash amid the smoke, I hear the crackling of the guns. Nor war alone thy fearful music song, wild player, brings every sight of fear. The deeds of ruthless brigands, rapine, murder. I hear the cries for help. I see ships foundering at sea. I behold on deck and below deck the terrible tableaus. O trumpeter, methinks I am myself the instrument thou playest. Thou meltest my heart, my brain, thou movest, drawest, changest them at will, and now thy sullen notes send darkness through me. Thou takest away all cheering light, all hope. I see the enslaved, the overthrown, the hurt, the oppressed of the whole earth. I feel the measureless shame and humiliation of my race. It becomes all mine. Mine too, the revenges of humanity, the wrongs of ages, baffled feuds and hatreds, utter defeat upon me weighs, all lost, the foe victorious. Yet mid the ruins pride colossal stands unshaken to the last, endurance, resolution to the last. Now, trumpeter, for thy close vouchsafe a higher strain than any yet. Sing to my soul, renew its languishing faith and hope. Rouse up my slow belief, give me some vision of the future. Give me, for once, its prophecy and joy. O glad, exalting, culminating song! A vigor more than earth's is on thy notes. Marches of victory, men disenthralled, the conqueror at last, hymns to the universal God from universal man, all joy. A reborn race appears, a perfect world, all joy. Women and men in wisdom, innocence and health, all joy. Riotous, laughing bacchanals filled with joy. War, sorrow, suffering, gone. The rank earth purged, nothing but joy left. The ocean filled with joy, the atmosphere, all joy, joy, joy in freedom worship, love, joy in the ecstasy of life, enough to merely be, enough to breathe, joy, joy, all over, joy. To a locomotive in winter. Thee for my recitative, thee in the driving storm, even as now the snow, the winter day declining, thee in thy panoply, thy measured dual throbbing, and thy beat convulsive, thy black cylindric body, golden brass and silvery steel, thy ponderous sidebars, parallel and connecting rods gyrating, shuttling at thy sides. Thy metrical, now swelling pant and roar, now tapering in the distance. Thy great protruding headlight fixed in front. Thy long, pale, floating vapor pennants tinged with delicate purple, the dense and murky clouds outbelching from the smokestack. Thy knitted frame, thy springs and valves, the tremulous twinkle of thy wheels. Thy train of cars behind, obedient, merrily following, through gale or calm, now swift, now slack, yet steadily careering. Type of the modern, emblem of motion and power, pulse of the continent. For once come serve the muse, and merge in verse, even as here I see thee with the storm, and buffeting gusts of wind and falling snow. By day thy warning ringing bell to sound its notes, by night thy silent signal lamps to swing. Fierce-throated beauty, roll through my chant with all thy lawless music, thy swinging lamps at night, thy madly whistled laughter echoing, rumbling like an earthquake, rousing all, law of thyself complete, thine own track firmly holding, No sweetness debonair of tearful harp or glib piano thine. Thy trills of shrieks by rocks and hills returned, launched o'er the prairies wide, across the lakes, to the free skies unpent and glad and strong. O magnet south. O magnet south, O glistening perfumed south, my south. O quick metal, rich blood, impulse and love, good and evil, O all dear to me. O dear to me my birth things, all moving things, and the trees where I was born, the grains, plants, rivers dear to me, my own sluggish rivers where they flow, distant over flats of silvery sands or through swamps, dear to me the Roanoke, the Savannah, the Altamaha, the Pee the Tombigbee, the Santee, the Coosa, the Sabine. O pensive fear away wandering, I return with my soul to haunt their banks again. Again in Florida I float on transparent lakes, I float on the Okeechobee, cross the hummock land, or through pleasant openings or dense forests. I see the parrots in the woods, see the pawpaw tree and the blossoming titi. Again sailing in my coaster on deck, I coast off Georgia, I coast up the Carolinas. I see where the live oak is growing, I see where the yellow pine, the scented bay tree, the lemon and orange, the cypress, the graceful palmetto. I pass rude sea headlands and enter Pamlico Sound through an inlet and dart my vision inland. O the cotton plant, the growing fields of rice, sugar and hemp, the cactus guarded with thorns, the laurel tree with white large flowers that range afar, the richness and barrenness, the old woods charged with mistletoe and trailing moss, the piney odor and the gloom, the awful natural stillness. Here in these dense swamps the freebooter carries his gun, and the fugitive has his concealed hut. Oh, the strange fascination of these half-known, half-impassable swamps, infested by reptiles, resounding with the bellow of the alligator, the sad noises of the night owl and the wildcat, and the whir of the rattlesnake, the mockingbird, the American mimic, singing all the forenoon, singing through the moonlit night, the hummingbird, the wild turkey, the raccoon, the opossum, a Kentucky cornfield, the tall, graceful, long-leaved corn, slender, flapping, bright green with tassels, with beautiful ears, each well sheathed in its husk. O my heart, O tender and fierce pangs, I can stand them not, I will depart. O to be a Virginian where I grew up, O to be a Carolinian, O longings irrepressible, O I will go back to old Tennessee and never wander more. Mannahatta. I was asking for something specific and perfect for my city, whereupon lo upsprang the aboriginal name. Now I see what there is in a name, a word, liquid, sane, unruly, musical, self-sufficient. I see that the word of my city is that word from of old, because I see that word nested in nests of water bays, superb, rich, hemmed thick all round with sail ships and steamships, an island 16 miles long, solid founded, numberless crowded streets, high growths of iron, slender, strong, light, splendidly uprising toward clear skies, tides swift and ample, well loved by me toward sundown, the flowing sea currents, The little islands, larger adjoining islands, the heights, the villas, the countless masts, the white shore steamers, the lighters, the ferryboats, the Black Sea steamers well modelled, the downtown streets, the jobbers' houses of business, the houses of business of the ship merchants and money brokers, the river streets, immigrants arriving, 15 or 20,000 in a week, the carts hauling goods, the manly face of drivers of horses, the brown-faced sailors, the summer air, the bright sun shining, and the sailing clouds aloft, the winter snows, the sleigh bells, the broken ice in the river passing up or down with the flood tide or ebb tide, the mechanics of the city, the masters well-formed, beautiful-faced, looking you straight in the eyes, trottoirs thronged, vehicles, Broadway, the women, the shops and shows, 1,000,000 people, manners free and superb, open voices, hospitality, the most courageous and friendly young men, city of hurried and sparkling waters, city of spires and masts, city nestled in bays, my city. All is truth. O me, man of slack faith too long, standing aloof, denying portions so long, only aware today of compact, all-diffused truth, discovering today there is no lie or form of lie, and can be none, but grows as inevitably upon itself as the truth does upon itself, or as any law of the earth, or any natural production of the earth does. This is curious, and may not be realized immediately, but it must be realized. I feel in myself that I represent falsehoods equally with the rest, and that the universe does. Where has failed a perfect return indifferent of lies or the truth? It is upon the ground. Is it in water, or fire, or in the spirit of man, or in the meat and blood? Meditating among liars, and retreating sternly into myself, I see that there are really no liars or lies after all, and that nothing fails its perfect return, and that what are called lies are perfect returns, and that each thing exactly represents itself, and what has preceded it, and that the truth includes all, and is compact just as much as space is compact, and there is no flaw or vacuum in the moment of the truth, but that all is truth without exception. And henceforth I will go celebrate anything I see or am, and sing and laugh and deny nothing. A riddle song. That which eludes this verse, and any verse unheard by sharpest ear, unformed in clearest eye or cunningest mind, nor lore, nor fame, nor happiness, nor wealth, and yet the pulse of every heart and life throughout the world incessantly, which you and I, all perusing, ever miss. Open, but still a secret, the real of the real, an illusion, costless, vouchsafed to each, yet never man the owner, which poets vainly seek to put in rhyme, historians in prose, which sculptor never chiselled yet, nor painter painted, which vocalist never sung, nor orator nor actor ever uttered, invoking here and now, I challenge for my song. Indifferently, mid public private haunts, in solitude behind the mountain and the wood, companion of the city's busiest streets, through the assemblage it and its radiations constantly glide. It looks of fair unconscious babes, dreams, or strangely in the coffined dead, or show of breaking dawn, or stars by night, as some dissolving delicate film of dreams, hiding yet lingering. Two little words, two little breaths of words comprising it, 2 words, yet all from first to last comprised in it. How ardently for it! How many ships have sailed and sunk for it! How many travellers started from their homes and ne'er returned! How much genius boldly staked and lost for it! What countless stores of beauty, love ventured for it! How all superbest deeds since time began are traceable to it, and shall be to the end! How heroic martyrdoms to it! How justified by it the horrors, evils, battles of the earth! How the bright fascinating lambent flames of it in every age and land have drawn men's eyes, rich as a sunset on the Norway coast, the sky, the islands and the cliffs, or midnight's silent glowing northern lights unreachable. Haply gods riddle it, so vague and yet so certain, the soul for it, and all the visible universe for it, and heaven at last for it. Excelsior. Who has gone farthest? For I would go farther. Who has been just? For I would be the most just person of the earth. And who most cautious? For I would be more cautious. And who has been happiest? Oh, I think it is I. I think no one was ever happier than I. And who has lavished all? For I lavish constantly the best I have. And who proudest? For I think I have reason to be the proudest son alive, for I am the son of the brawny and tall-topped city. And who has been bold and true? For I would be the boldest and truest being of the universe. And who benevolent? For I would show more benevolence than all the rest. And who has received the love of the most friends? For I know what it is to receive the passionate love of many friends. And who possesses a perfect and enamored body? For I do not believe any one possesses a more perfect or enamored body than mine. And who thinks the amplest thoughts? For I would surround those thoughts. And who has made hymns fit for the earth? For I am mad with devouring ecstasy to make joyous hymns for the whole earth. Ah, poverty's wincings and sulky retreats! Ah, poverty's wincings and sulky retreats! Ah, you foes in conflict have overcome me, for what is my life, or any man's life, but a conflict with foes? The old, the incessant war. You degradations, you tussle with passions and appetites. You smarts from dissatisfied friendships. Ah, wounds the sharpest of all. You toil of painful and choked articulations. You meanness, you shallow tongue, talks at tables, my tongue the shallowest of any. You broken resolutions, you racking angers, you smothered ennuis. Ah, think not you finally triumph. My real self has yet to come forth. It shall yet march forth o'ermastering till all lies beneath me. It shall yet stand up the soldier of ultimate victory. Thoughts of public opinion, of a calm and cool fiat sooner or later, how impassive, how certain and final, of the President, with pale face asking secretly to himself, what will the people say at last? Of the frivolous judge, of the corrupt congressman, governor, mayor, of such as these standing helpless and exposed, of the mumbling and screaming priest, soon deserted, of the lessening year by year of venerableness, and of the dicta of officers, statues, pulpits, schools, of the rising forever taller and stronger and broader of the intuitions of men and women, of the self-esteem and personality, of the true new world, of the democracies resplendent en masse, of the conformity of politics, armies, navies to them, of the shining sun by them, of the inherent light greater than the rest, of the envelopment of all by them, and the effusion of all from them. Mediums. They shall arise in the states. They shall report nature, laws, physiology, and happiness. They shall illustrate democracy and the cosmos. They shall be alimentive, amative, perceptive. They shall be complete men and women, their pose brawny and supple, their drink water, their blood clean and clear. They shall fully enjoy materialism and the sight of products. They shall enjoy the sight of the beef, lumber, breadstuffs of Chicago, the great city. They shall train themselves to go in public, to become orators and oratresses. Strong and sweet shall be their tongues. Poems and materials of poems shall come from their lives. They shall be makers and finders. Of them and of thy work shall emerge divine conveyors to convey gospels, characters, events, retrospections shall be conveyed in gospels. Trees, animals, waters shall be conveyed. Death, the future, the invisible faith shall all be conveyed. Weave in, my hardy life. Weave in, my hardy life, weave yet a soldier strong and full for great campaigns to come. Weave in red blood, reeve sinews like ropes, the senses, sight weave in. Weave lasting shore, weave day and night the weft, the warp incessant weave, tire not. We know not what use, O life, nor know the aim, the end, nor really ought we know, but know the work, the need goes on, and shall go on, the death-enveloped march of peace as well as war goes on. For those great campaigns of peace, the same, the wiry threads to weave, we know not why, or what, yet weave, forever weave. Spain, 1873-74. Out of the murk of heaviest clouds, out of the funeral wrecks and heaped up skeletons of kings, out of that old entire European debris, the shattered mummeries, ruined cathedrals, crumble of palaces, tombs of priests, lo, freedom's features fresh undimmed look forth. The same immortal face looks forth, a glimpse as of thy mother's face, Columbia, a flash, significant as of a sword beaming toward thee. Nor think we forget thee maternal. Lagst thou so long? Shall the clouds close again upon thee? Ah, but thou hast thyself now appeared to us. We know thee. Thou hast given us a sure proof, the glimpse of thyself. Thou waitest there, as everywhere, thy time. By broad Potomac's shore. By broad Potomac's shore again, old tongue, still uttering, still ejaculating, canst never cease this babble? Again, old heart so gay, again to you your sense, the first full flush spring returning. Again the freshness and the odors, again Virginia's summer sky, pellucid blue and silver. Again the forenoon purple of the hills, again the deathless grass, so noiseless, soft and green. Again the blood-red roses blooming. Perfume this book of mine, O blood-red roses. Lave subtly with your waters every line, Potomac. Give me of you, O spring, before I close, to put between its pages. O forenoon purple of the hills, before I close, of you. O deathless grass, of you. Far from Dakota's Canyons, June 25th, 1876. Far from Dakota's canyons, lands of the wild ravine, the dusky Sioux, the lonesome stretch, the silence, haply day to day a mournful wall, haply a trumpet note for heroes. The battle bulletin, the Indian ambuscade, the craft, the fatal environment, the cavalry companies fighting to the last in sternest heroism, in the midst of their little circle, with their slaughtered horses for breastworks, the fall of Custer and all his officers and men. Continues yet the old, old legend of our race, the loftiest of life unheld by death, the ancient banner perfectly maintained. O lesson opportune, O how I welcome thee, as sitting in the dark days, lone, sulky, through that time's thick murk, looking in vain for light, for hope, from unsuspected parts of fierce and momentary proof. The sun there at the center, though concealed, electric life forever at the center, brings forth a lightning flash. Thou of the tawny flowing hair in battle I erewhile saw with erect head pressing ever in front, bearing a bright sword in thy hand, now ending well in death the splendid fever of thy deeds. I bring no dirge for it or thee. I bring a glad triumphal sonnet, desperate and glorious, I in defeat most desperate, most glorious, leaving behind thee a memory sweet to soldiers. Thou yieldest up thyself. Old War Dreams. In midnight sleep of many faces of anguish, of the look at first of the mortally wounded, of that indescribable look of the dead on their backs with arms extended wide, I dream, I dream, I dream of scenes of nature, fields, mountains, of skies so beauteous after a storm, and at night the moon so unearthly bright, shining sweetly, shining down where we dig the trenches and gather the heaps. I dream, I dream, I dream. Long have they passed, faces and trenches and fields, where through the carnage I moved with a callous composure, or away from the fallen onward I sped at the time. But now of their forms at night I dream, I dream, I dream. Thick sprinkled bunting. Thick sprinkled bunting, flag of stars, long yet your road, fateful flag, long yet your road, and lined with bloody death. For the prize I see at issue is, at last, the world. All its ships and shores I see interwoven with your threads, greedy banner, dreamed again of flags and kings, highest born to flaunt unrivalled. O hastened flag of man, O with sure and steady step, passing highest flags of kings. Walk supreme to the heavens, mighty symbol, I run up above them all, flag of stars, thick sprinkled bunting. What best I see in thee. To U.S.G. returned from his world's tour. What best I see in thee is not that where thou mov'st down history's great highways, ever undimmed by time shoots warlike victory's dazzle, or that thou sat'st where Washington sat, ruling the land in peace, or thou, the man whom feudal Europe fated, venerable Asia swarmed upon, who walked with kings with even pace the round world's promenade, but that in foreign lands, in all thy walks with kings, those prairie sovereigns of the West, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Ohio's, Indiana's millions, comrades, farmers, soldiers, all to the front, invisibly with thee, walking with kings, with even pace, the round world's promenade, were all so justified. Spirit that formed this scene, written in Platte Canyon, Colorado. Spirit that formed this scene, these tumbled rock piles grim and red, these reckless heaven ambitious peaks, these gorges, turbulent clear streams, these naked freshnesses, these formless wild arrays for reasons of their own, I know these, savage spirit. We have communed together. Mine too such wild arrays for reasons of their own was charged against my chance. They had forgotten art, to fuse within themselves its rules precise and delicatesse. The lyricist's measured beat, the wrought out temple's grace, column and polished arch forgot. But thou, that revellest here, spirit that formed this scene, they have remembered thee. As I walk these broad, majestic days. As I walk these broad, majestic days of peace, for the war, the struggle of blood finished, wherein no terrific ideal against vast odds, erstwhile having gloriously won, now thou stridest on. Yet perhaps in time toward denser wars, perhaps to engage in time the still more dreadful contests, dangers, longer campaigns and crises, labors beyond all others around me. I hear that éclat of the world, politics, produce the announcements of recognized things, science, the approved growth of cities, and the spread of inventions. I see the ships, they will last a few years, the vast factories with all their foremen and workmen, and hear the endorsement of all, and do not object to it. But I too announce solid things. Science, ships, politics, cities, factories are not nothing. Like a grand procession to music of distant bugles pouring, triumphantly moving, and grandeur heaving in sight, they stand for realities. All is as it should be. Then my realities. What else is so real as mine? Libertad and the divine average, freedom to every slave on the face of the earth, the rapt promises of lumine of seers, the spiritual world, these centuries-lasting songs, and our visions, the visions of poets, the most solid announcements of any. A clear midnight. This is thy hour, O soul, thy free flight into the worldless, away from the books, away from art, the day erased, the lesson done, thee fully forth emerging, silent, gazing, pondering the themes thou lovest best, night, sleep, death, and the stars. End of Book 32.
Book 33. Songs of Parting. As the time draws nigh. As the time draws nigh, glooming a cloud, a dread beyond of I know not what darkens me. I shall go forth, I shall traverse the states a while, but I cannot tell whither or how long. Perhaps some day or night while I am singing, my voice will suddenly cease. O book, O chants, must all then amount to but this? Must we barely arrive at this beginning of us? And yet it is enough, O soul. O soul, we have positively appeared. That is enough. Years of the modern. Years of the modern, years of the unperformed. Your horizon rises, I see it, parting away for more august dramas. I see not America only, not only Liberty's nation, but other nations preparing. I see tremendous entrances and exits, new combinations, the solidarity of races. I see that force advancing with irresistible power on the world stage. Have the old forces, the old wars played their parts? Are the acts suitable to them closed? I see freedom, completely armed and victorious and very haughty, with law on one side and peace on the other. A stupendous trio all issuing forth against the idea of caste. What historic denouement are these we so rapidly approach? I see men marching and countermarching by swift millions. I see the frontiers and boundaries of the old aristocracies broken. I see the landmarks of European kings removed. I see this day the people beginning their landmarks. All others give way. Never were such sharp questions asked as this day. Never was average man, his soul more energetic, more like a god. Lo, how he urges and urges, leaving the masses no rest. His daring foot is on land and sea everywhere. He colonizes the Pacific, the archipelagos, with the steamship, the electric telegraph, the newspaper, the wholesale engines of war. With these and the world-spreading factories, he interlinks all geography, all lands. What whispers are these, O lands, running ahead of you, passing under the seas? Are all nations communing? Is there going to be but one heart to the globe? Is humanity forming en masse? For lo, tyrants tremble, crowns grow dim, the earth, restive, confronts a new era, perhaps a general divine war, No one knows what will happen next. Such portents fill the days and nights. Years prophetical. The space ahead as I walk, as I vainly try to pierce it, is full of phantoms, unborn deeds. Things soon to be project their shapes around me. This incredible rush and heat, this strange, ecstatic fever of dreams. O years! Your dreams, O years, how they penetrate through me! I know not whether I sleep or wake. The performed America and Europe grow dim, retiring in shadow behind me. The unperformed, more gigantic than ever, advance upon me. Ashes of soldiers. Ashes of soldiers south or north, as I muse retrospective, murmuring a chant in thought. The war resumes. Again to my sense your shapes, and again the advance of the armies. Noiseless as mists and vapors, from their graves in the trenches ascending, from cemeteries all through Virginia and Tennessee, from every point of the compass, out of the countless graves, in wafted clouds, in myriads large, or squads of twos or threes, or single ones, they come and silently gather round me. No, now sound no note, O trumpeters, not at the head of my cavalry parading on spirited horses, sabres drawn and glistening, and carbines by their thighs. Ah, my brave horsemen, my handsome tan-faced horsemen, what life, what joy and pride, with all the perils, were yours. Nor you drummers, neither at reveille at dawn, nor the long roll alarming the camp, nor even the muffled beat for burial. Nothing from you this time, O drummers, bearing my warlike drums. But aside from these, and the marts of wealth in the crowded promenade, admitting around me comrades close unseen by the rest, and voiceless, the slain elate and alive again, the dust and debris alive, I chant this chant of my silent soul in the name of all dead soldiers. Faces so pale with wondrous eyes, very dear, gather closer yet, draw close, but speak not. Phantoms of countless lost, invisible to the rest, henceforth become my companions. Follow me ever, desert me not while I live. Sweet are the blooming cheeks of the living, sweet are the musical voices sounding, but sweet, ah, sweet are the dead with their silent eyes. Dearest comrades, all is over and long gone, but love is not over. And what love, O comrades, perfume from battle fields rising, up from the fetter arising. Perfume therefore my chant, O love, immortal love, give me to bathe the memories of all dead soldiers, shroud them, embalm them, and cover them all over with tender pride. Perfume all, make all wholesome, make these ashes to nourish and blossom. O love, salve all, fructify all with the last chemistry. Give me exhaustless, make me a fountain, that I exhale love from me wherever I go, like a moist perennial dew, for the ashes of all dead soldiers, south or north. Thoughts. 1. Of these I sing, how they pass and have passed through convulsed pains, as through parturitions, how America illustrates birth, muscular youth, the promise, the sure fulfillment, the absolute success, despite of people, illustrates evil as well as good, the vehement struggle so fierce for unity in oneself. How many hold despairingly yet to the models departed, caste, myths, obedience, compulsion, and to infidelity. How few see the arrived models, the athletes, the Western states, or see freedom or spirituality, or hold any faith in results. But I see the athletes, and I see the results of the war glorious and inevitable, and they again leading to other results. How the great cities appear, how the democratic masses, turbulent, willful, as I love them, how the whirl, the contest, the wrestle of evil with good, the sounding and resounding, keep on and on. How society waits unformed, and is for a while between things ended and things begun. How America is the continent of glories, and of the triumph of freedom, and of the democracies, and of the fruits of society, and of all that is begun, and how the states are complete in themselves, and how all triumphs and glories are complete in themselves to lead onward, and how these of mine and of the states will in their turn be convulsed, and serve other parturitions and transitions, and how all people, sites, combinations, the democratic masses too, serve, and how every fact and war itself, with all its horrors, serves, and how now or at any time each serves the exquisite transition of death. 2. Of seeds dropping into the grounds, of births, of the steady concentration of America inland upward to impregnable and swarming places, of what Indiana, Kentucky, Arkansas, and the rest are to be, of what a few years will show there in Nebraska, Colorado, Nevada, and the rest, or afar, mounting the northern Pacific to Sitka or Alaska, of what the fuelage of America is the preparation for, and of what all sites, north, south, east, and west, are. Of this union, welded in blood, of the solemn price paid, of the unnamed, lost, ever present in my mind, of the temporary use of materials for identity's sake, of the present passing, departing, of the growth of completer men than any yet, of all sloping down there where the fresh, free giver, the mother, the Mississippi flows, of mighty inland cities yet unsurveyed and unsuspected, of the new and good names, of the modern developments, of inalienable homesteads, of a free and original life there, of simple diet and clean and sweet blood, of litheness, majestic faces, clear eyes, and perfect physique there, of immense spiritual results, future years far west, each side of the Anahuacs, of these songs well understood there, being made for that area, of the native scorn of grossness and gain there. Oh, it lurks in me night and day. What is gain, after all, to savageness and freedom? Song at Sunset. Splendor of ended day floating and filling me, hour prophetic, our resuming the past, inflating my throat, you divine average, you earth and life, to the last ray of gleams I sing. Open mouth of my soul uttering gladness, eyes of my soul seeing perfection, natural life of me faithfully praising things, corroborating forever the triumph of things. Illustrious, every one, illustrious what we name space, sphere of unnumbered spirits, illustrious the mystery of motion in all beings, even the tiniest insect, illustrious the attribute of speech, the senses, the body, illustrious the passing light, illustrious the pale reflection on the new moon in the western sky, illustrious whatever I see or hear or touch to the last. Good in all, in the satisfaction and aplomb of animals, in the annual return of the seasons, in the hilarity of youth, in the strength and flush of manhood, in the grandeur and exquisiteness of old age, in the superb vistas of death. Wonderful to depart, wonderful to be here, the heart to jet the all alike and innocent blood, to breathe the air, how delicious, to speak, to walk, to seize something by the hand, to prepare for sleep, for bed, to look on my rose-colored flesh, to be conscious of my body, so satisfied, so large, to be this incredible God I am, to have gone forth among other gods, these men and women I love. Wonderful how I celebrate you and myself, how my thoughts play subtly at the spectacles around, how the clouds pass silently overhead, how the earth darts on, and how the moon, sun, stars dart on, how the water sports and sings, surely it is alive, how the trees rise and stand up with strong trunks, with branches and leaves. Surely there is something more in each of these trees, some living soul. Oh, amazement of things, even the least particle. Oh, spirituality of things. Oh, strain musical flowing through ages and continents, now reaching me and America. I take your strong chords, intersperse them, and cheerfully pass them forward. I, too, carol the sun, ushered, or at noon, or as now, setting. I, too, throb to the brain and beauty of the earth, and of all the growths of the earth. I, too, have the resistless call of myself. As I steamed down the Mississippi, as I wandered over the prairies, as I have lived, as I have looked through my windows, my eyes, as I went forth in the morning, as I beheld the light breaking in the east, as I bathed on the beach of the eastern sea, and again on the beach of the western sea, as I roamed the streets of inland Chicago, whatever streets I have roamed, or cities, or silent woods, or even amid the sites of war, wherever I have been, I have charged myself with contentment and triumph. I sing to the last the equalities, modern or old. I sing the endless finales of things. I say, nature continues, glory continues. I praise with electric voice, for I do not see one imperfection in the universe, and I do not see one cause or result lamentable at last in the universe. O setting sun, though the time has come, I still warble under you, if none else does, unmitigated adoration. as at thy portals also death. As at thy portals also death, entering the sovereign, dim, illimitable grounds, to memories of my mother, to the divine blending maternity, to her, buried and gone, yet buried not, gone not from me. I see again the calm, benignant face, fresh and beautiful still. I sit by the form in the coffin. I kiss and kiss convulsively again the sweet old lips, the cheeks, the closed eyes in the coffin. To her, the ideal woman, practical, spiritual, of all of earth, life, love, to me, the best. I grave a monumental line before I go amid these songs, and set a tombstone here. My legacy. The businessman, the acquirer, vast, after assiduous years surveying results, preparing for departure, devises houses and lands to his children, bequeaths stocks, goods, funds for a school or hospital, leaves money to certain companions to buy tokens, souvenirs of gems and gold. But I, my life surveying, closing, with nothing to show to devise from its idle years, nor houses, nor lands, nor tokens of gems or gold for my friends, yet certain remembrances of the war for you, and after you, and little souvenirs of camps and soldiers, with my love, I bind together and bequeath in this bundle of songs. Pensive on her dead gazing. Pensive on her dead gazing, I heard the mother of all, desperate on the torn bodies, on the forms covering the battlefields, gazing, as the last guns ceased, but the scent of the powder smoke lingered. As she called to her earth, and with mournful voice while she stalked, absorb them well, O my earth, she cried. I charge you, lose not my sons, lose not an atom, and you streams absorb them well, taking their dear blood, and you local spots, and you airs that swim above lightly and palpable, and all you essences of soil and growth, and you my river's depths, and you mountain sides, and the woods where my dear children's blood trickling reddened. And you trees, down in your roots to bequeath to all future trees, my dead absorb or south or north, my young men's bodies absorb, and their precious, precious blood, which, holding in trust for me faithfully, back again give me many a year hence, in unseen essence and odor of surface and grass, centuries hence, in blowing airs from the fields, back again give me my darlings, give my immortal heroes, exhale me them, centuries hence, breathe me their breath, let not an atom be lost. O years and graves, O air and soil, O my dead and aroma sweet, exhale them perennial sweet death, years, centuries hence. Camps of green. Nor alone those camps of white, old comrades of the wars, when as ordered forward after a long march, footsore and weary, Soon as the light lessens, we halt for the night. Some of us fatigued, carrying the gun and knapsack, dropping asleep in our tracks. Others pitching the little tents, and the fires lit up begin to sparkle. Outposts of pickets posted surrounding, alert through the dark, and a word provided for countersign, careful for safety. Till, to the call of the drummers, at daybreak, loudly beating the drums, we rise up refreshed, the night and sleep passed o'er, and resume our journey, or proceed to battle. Lo, the camps of the tents of green, which the days of peace keep filling, and the days of war keep filling, with a mystic army. Is it too ordered forward? Is it too only halting a while, till night and sleep pass over? Now in those camps of green, in their tents dotting the world, in the parents, children, husbands, wives, in them, in the old and young, sleeping under the sunlight, sleeping under the moonlight, content and silent there at last, behold the mighty bivouac field and waiting camp of all, of the corps and generals all, and the president over the corps and generals all, and of each of us, O soldiers, and of each and all, in the ranks we fought. There without hatred we all meet. For presently, O soldiers, we too camp in our place in the bivouac camps of green, but we need not provide for outposts, nor word for the countersign, nor drummer to beat the morning drum. The Sobbing of the Bells. Midnight, September 19th through 20th, 1881. The sobbing of the bells, the sudden death news everywhere. The slumberers rouse, the rapport of the people. Full well they know that message in the darkness. Full well respond within their breasts, their brains, the sad reverberations. The passionate toll and clang, city to city, joining, sounding, passing, those heartbeats of a nation in the night. As they draw to a close. As they draw to a close of what underlies the precedent songs, of my aims in them, of the seed I have sought to plant in them, of joy, sweet joy, through many a year in them. For them have I lived, in them my work is done. Of many an aspiration fond, of many a dream and plan, through space and time fused in a chant, and the flowing eternal identity, to nature encompassing these, encompassing God, to the joyous electric all, to the sense of death, and accepting, exulting in death, in its turn, the same as life, the entrance of man to sing, to compact you, ye parted, diverse lives, and to put rapport the mountains and rocks and streams, and the winds of the north, and the forests of oak and pine, with you, O soul. Joy, shipmate, joy. Joy, shipmate, joy, pleased to my soul at death I cry. Our life is closed, our life begins, the long, long anchorage we leave. The ship is clear at last, she leaps, she swiftly courses from the shore. Joy, shipmate, joy. The untold want. The untold want by life and land ne'er granted, now, voyager, sail thou forth to seek and find. Portals. What are those of the known but to ascend and enter the unknown? And what are those of life but for death? These carols sung to cheer my passage through the world I see, for completion I dedicate to the invisible world. Now, finale to the shore. Now, finale to the shore, now land and life finale and farewell. Now, voyager, depart, much for thee is yet in store. Often enough hast thou adventured o'er the seas, cautiously cruising, studying the charts, duly again to port and hawsers tie returning. But now obey thy cherished secret wish. Embrace thy friends. Leave all in order. To port and hawsers tie, no more returning. Depart upon thy endless cruise, old sailor. So long. To conclude, I announce what comes after me. I remember I said before my leaves sprang at all, I would raise my voice jocund and strong with reference to consummations. When America does what was promised, when through these states walk 100 million of superb persons, when the rest part away for superb persons and contribute to them, when breeds of the most perfect mothers denote America, then to me and mine our due fruition. I have pressed through in my own right. I have sung the body and the soul, war and peace have I sung, and the songs of life and death, and the songs of birth, and shown that there are many births. I have offered my style to everyone. I've journeyed with confident step. While my pleasure is yet at the full, I whisper, so long. And take the young woman's hand and the young man's hand for the last time. I announce natural persons to arise. I announce justice triumphant. I announce uncompromising liberty and equality. I announce the justification of candor and the justification of pride. I announce that the identity of these states is a single identity only. I announce the union more and more compact, indissoluble. I announce splendors and majesties to make all the previous politics of the earth insignificant. I announce adhesiveness. I say it shall be limitless, unloosened. I say, you shall yet find the friend you were looking for. I announce a man or woman coming. Perhaps you are the one. So long. I announce the great individual, fluid as nature, chaste, affectionate, compassionate, fully armed. I announce a life that shall be copious, vehement, spiritual, bold. I announce an end that shall lightly and joyfully meet its translation. I announce myriads of youths, beautiful, gigantic, sweet-blooded. I announce a race of splendid and savage old men. O thicker and faster, so long. O crowding too close upon me, I foresee too much. It means more than I thought. It appears to me I am dying. Hasten, throat, and sound your last. Salute me, salute the days once more. Peal the old cry once more. Screaming, electric, the atmosphere using, at random glancing, even as I notice, absorbing, swiftly on. But a little while alighting, curious enveloped, messages delivering, sparkles hot, seed ethereal down in the dirt dropping, myself unknowing, my commission obeying, to question it never daring, to ages and ages yet the growth of the seed leaving, to troops out of the war arising, they the tasks I have set promulging, to women certain whispers of myself bequeathing, their affection me more clearly explaining, to young men my problems offering no dallier I the muscle of their brains trying. So I pass, a little time vocal, visible, contrary. Afterward a melodious echo, passionately bent for death making me really undying. The best of me then, when no longer visible, for toward that I have been incessantly preparing. What is there more that I lag and pause and crouch extended with unshut mouth? Is there a single final farewell? My songs cease, I abandon them. From behind the screen where I hid, advance personally solely to you. Camarado, this is no book. Who touches this touches a man. Is it night? Are we here together alone? Is it I you hold, and who holds you? I spring from the pages into your arms. Decease calls me forth. Oh, how your fingers drowse me. Your breath falls around me like dew. Your pulse lulls the tympans of my ears. I feel immerged from head to foot. Delicious. Enough. Enough, O deed impromptu and secret. Enough, O gliding present. Enough, O summed up past. Dear friend, whoever you are, take this kiss. I give it especially to you. Do not forget me. I feel like one who has done work for the day to retire a while. I receive now, again, of my many translations, from my avatars ascending, while others doubtless await me. An unknown sphere, more real than I dreamed, more direct, darts awakening rays about me. So long. Remember my words. I may again return. I love you. I depart from materials. I am as one disembodied, triumphant, dead. End of Book 33.